This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every bet until you know in each verse. Travis test the waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat. PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every bet until you know in each verse. Travis test the waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Travis of PlayerProps.ai, and this is what we're looking at for Thursday Night Football. It is Halloween Eve, 10:30, and we believe that Lamar Jackson is going to be playing. So that's what all the projections are based off, him actually playing. If you haven't seen me for a hot minute, because it has been a hot minute, here's the answer to your question of where in the world is Travis? So I just got back from a event, industry event, if you will. Actually, not even really industry event. Just a bunch of like former professional athletes and investors and athletes who want to become investors. That was in South Florida. So if you don't know, I live in Central Florida. So it was just a drive for me. And I'm going to tell you a story of why you haven't really seen my face in a couple days. It's like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive. If you don't know, I have my car is a 2024 Ford Mustang. It's been my dream car for the longest time. I had a Mustang like 10 years ago for a little bit, and now I finally got like the new cool ones, color blue, all that good stuff, right? So I've had it for like 2 years. So I drive this 2.5, 3 hour trip on Sunday. So the plan was there was like a cocktail party on Sunday night. Then there was the main core of the event on Monday, and then for the first half of Tuesday was the kind of the wrap of it, and then I was going to head back thereafter. So Sunday night, remember, I just drove down like a couple hours before the cocktail party on Sunday night. I check into my Airbnb and I change into my business attire, and this event is held inside of like an exotic car dealership, which is always nice to be inside of, because if you don't have dreams, walk inside an exotic car dealership. You'll start creating some. But anyway, regardless, so I'm having a great time at this event, talking to a lot of people, meeting new people. Former NFL players were there, former NBA players, all the other stuff. My favorite person I spoke to, former NFL player, if you guys remember, the All-Pro defensive end for the Texans, and then he played for the Packers, I think, for 2 years after that. Whitney Marsalis, he is probably one of the nicest former NFL players that I've ever met. So shout out to you, Whitney. Anywho, so following this event wraps. It's probably 9:30 p.m. at this point. This is, again, this Sunday of this week. The hurricane that is currently right now destroying Jamaica, which definitely wish the best for everybody going through that in Jamaica, because it's annihilating Jamaica. It's the third strongest recorded storm ever and the strongest one to ever hit Jamaica. Anywho, even though the storm is quote unquote nowhere near Florida and it's not projected to go to Florida, there's still some like super far out stuff happening with like outer bands, just because there's so much pressure and so much spinning of everything that even far out, it does increase rainfall for South Florida. So this was happening on Sunday, where there's I get there, it's not really raining, and then apparently the entire time I'm in this exotic car dealership, it's pouring, but you can't really tell because you're inside here, you're chatting up people, having a drink and some more hors d'oeuvres, and so I get out and it's pouring, and all the cars were valeted. So valet pulls my car up, my Mustang, and they like walk out. He walked me to the car with the umbrella. I get in the Mustang and like, all right, time to go back to the Airbnb, get some sleep, because I got a full day of this event tomorrow. So I like from where the valet, like right in front of the door of this exotic car dealership, I get in the car, and then it's like an immediate right to a stop sign, and then that's the main road that you go either left or right on. And so Google Maps is telling me to go right. So I get past the stop sign, and then I get maybe like 5 feet past the stop sign, maybe, and my car just stalls. Like, just turns off, which has never happened. And it's also a 2024 Ford Mustang, so there's no reason in the world for this to happen. The street is very poorly lit, or actually not lit at all, so I can't really see too much of what's going on besides, kind of what's in front of me, and I know there's no there's no headlights coming from either side. So like, okay, so it's not something where I'm like slowing down and like, oh, there's a car coming. It's like, okay, stop sign. I'm looking at my GPS. Okay, GPS says turn right, and I know there's no cars coming, and so I'm looking at the GPS and I turn right, and that's when the car stops. It wasn't until a car actually came by and I saw this tidal wave that I realized this particular spot on this particular street was more flooded than any street that I've ever seen outside of like videos, like in person. It's the most flooded ever, and it was horribly designed, where the street is kind of almost like an incline, where here's the median and then it kind of dips off here. So the lanes that are on the outside is where the water builds up. So if you go on the inside, you might be okay. But of course, if you have no idea that you're driving into a lake, it doesn't matter which lane you choose, because you're like, if I had a car go in front of me and they ran in essentially drove into the lake and they stalled, then I'd be like, oh, I'm not driving in this. Which all of the cars that were behind me saw what happened and hit reverse and then went to like the parking lot, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna wait this out. Meanwhile, my car is essentially in a lake that has been created from this heavy rain and horrible street design on the street in Boca Raton, Florida, which I found out the next day that the city of Boca apparently set alarm signals out to everybody and news alerts saying, do not drive on the streets. I never got an alert. I never heard anything about this. Nobody said anything as I was leaving this cocktail party, right? So I'm in my car, which is essentially not submerged like I'm actually in a lake, but the water level was so high that I've lived in Florida for 40 years. I've never been in this situation or even close to the situation. I had no idea what to do. I'm sitting in a car that doesn't work, and I'm like, what happens here? So in like 2-3 minutes go by, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do here. Fire truck, so many people across this city, specifically this city in South Florida, are getting stuck in this situation. Horrible infrastructure, horrible street design building, horrible drainage, where this fire truck is coming in the inside lane, going the direction I was originally going to go, because they're responding to somebody else's call. The fire truck slows down right in front of me, and they're like, hey, do you need help? And I'm like, well, of course I do. I'm inside of a car that doesn't work, and you can clearly see my hazard lights are on. But that's not how I responded. I was like, yes, please. So they park, they're in the middle of the street. Nobody's going back and forth anyway, because everybody sees what happened to me. So like 3 or 4 firefighters come out, and I put it in neutral, and they help push it back far enough where it's not like in the lane, but it's kind of like almost where the stop sign was, because if you remember, I kind of went like 5 feet past the stop sign. So they push it back to the stop sign, where essentially like the front half of my car is still in water, but like not past the top of the tire anymore. So they get it out of like the most submerged spot, and they're like, hey, like this is the best we can do right now. We have to go respond to somebody else. And I was like, hey, I'm not in the middle of the road anymore. I still don't know what to do, so this is better than what I was before. Thank you guys. Before they pushed me back, at one point I did open my car door. The level of the water, so it wasn't like here's the street and here's the car, because remember, the street is an incline, so when I turned, I kind of was driving into a decline, which is why like it essentially the front, the water level at the front was pretty close to the top, but when I opened the door, it was the water level was flush with the bottom of the door of my car, my Mustang. And so if I had my door open and a car went by, I would have had a tidal wave go inside the car. But because I didn't let that happen. I wasn't getting like a crazy amount of water, or like the water wasn't coming into the car. I was wearing I brought my very nice mellows, the white ones. If you know anything about me traveling and going to conferences, you always know that I wear the crazy color mellows. I decided to go white because it's a little more highbrow for this investor stuff. So I'm like, well, I'm definitely not walking out in these shoes. Take my shoes off, and and I get into the water and I walk back to where the valet guys were, and I go, guys, like, please, for the love of all that's holy, will you guys help me push my car from where the firefighters pushed it to just in any spot in this parking lot, so it's out of the way of everything and it's not in any water whatsoever. And so these guys were great. They come out and put it neutral again. I come out in my bare feet because I took my socks and shoes off, and I'm helping them push my car, and we finally get into a parking spot. This story is not near done yet, so if you do not care at this point of what's going to continue to happen, you may want to fast forward like 3 minutes. But if you're invested, you made it this far, I'm going to go through this entire thing with you guys. So leave the car there. The owner of the exotic car dealership was part of the event, so you go inside. We confirm that, like, hey, they push my car back, but it's kind of like double parked because it's hard. I mean, we didn't have control of the car besides just pushing it. I was like, please don't tow it. It's double parked. It just got flooded. It's not going to turn on. Don't get it towed. Let me keep it here. He's like, yeah, we're not going to try to tow it or anything. Cool. Great. So this ends the first night of this event. My car ran into a flood. Didn't work. Firefighters helped me. Valet guys helped me. It's now in the parking lot of exotic car dealership. I go back to I take a Lyft, which this is another interesting part. So I'm doing Lyft XL because, of course, they're the bigger vehicles. And I'm just looking at the cars that accept. And if it doesn't look like the vehicle is high enough off the ground, like, nope, cancel. And then I get a car that's like, I forgot what it was, like an Expedition or something. Like, yeah, that should be big enough. I'm like, okay, take me through this flood. Take me back to my Airbnb. So I go back to the Airbnb, and then I go to sleep. I wake up, and then on Monday, the first thing I do on Monday morning is I file a claim. I said, call my insurance. I file a claim, and then they say, okay, we're going to send a contract out to all the tow trucks in the area, and when somebody accepts it, they'll call you saying they're on their way. Meet them there. And then they'll tow it to a repair shop nearby, so they can assess the situation, if the car is repairable, or if it's like, I mean, water is very, very. If you know anything about floods or just water damage in general with cars, once you get cars like in the intake and the wiring gets compromised, and then you have all these other things that are compromised, like, it's very, very, very easy to get a car totaled at any value when a car drives into a lake, essentially. So my Monday morning, wake up, file a claim, go to the event. The event's a very long event for the day. It was like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m., like a full day of things. And I'm doing this event, here at this event that I drove down for, waiting on a call of a tow truck, and a tow truck never calls. So at 7 p.m. when the event ends, somebody I made friends with there drives me back to the exotic car dealership where my car still is, and I have AAA. If you know what AAA is like a subscription thing where you get essentially, you're paying a small subscription, monthly subscription for like roadside assistance anywhere in the country, essentially, I think. So I have free towing of certain distances through the AAA. And so even though the insurance put out something like 12 hours ago and no tow truck in like a 100-mile radius picked up the contract that towed me, I call AAA at like 7:15. I'm at my car. So I'm at my car. It's now 8 p.m. and I get an automated like AI text message from AAA saying, hey, there's a tow truck. We've contacted a tow truck. They're on their way. We'll update you with an ETA. So I'm just still chilling in a car that is not going to drive. And it's also important that you don't try to make it drive, because you can do more damage if there's water in the intake. So I didn't even try to start it, because if it was something that could be fixed, I would have destroyed it if I tried to start it again. So I just, I'm walking around this car in the parking lot, sitting down, standing up, walking around. It's now 8:30, so I've been walking around my car and sitting in my car or whatever for an hour. I text this AI chatbot. I say, hey, it's been 30 minutes. Any update on the ETA? So we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. 15 minutes go by. The chatbot sends me a text saying, it looks like you're at a repair shop that is after hours or is closed. We cannot pick up your car from a repair shop after hours. You have to wait till tomorrow. So, and I know this isn't a human, and I'm still getting upset. So of course, even if it's a chatbot and you're angry, you're going to type in all caps. So I type in all caps. I was like, you are not listening to anything I'm saying. I go, I am not inside of a repair shop. First off, I don't believe this is a repair shop. It's just a dealership. They may do repairs. I don't know. I'm in a parking lot. I said, come get my car. There's zero restrictions on you getting a tow truck to my car, regardless of what company I'm sitting in front of. And then it keeps saying, like, sorry, like it's this. And I'm like, give me a gosh dang human so I can tell them it has nothing to do with the building that's behind the car. And so I finally get somebody to call me at like 8:55. So I've now been walking around my car in the dark of night, waiting for an hour and a half at this point to get towed or to get any notification that a tow truck is coming with an ETA. And so like at 8:50-ish, 8:55, I get a human from AAA calling me, and I go, listen, I think your automated system is jacked up, because the address I gave it to where my car is an exotic car dealership, but it's I don't know if it's registered as a repair shop, but it's saying it can't go because of blah, blah, blah. So I said, just pick the door next to it. I don't understand how this is crazy. How many people have gotten screwed over the history of time from AAA because they give an address of the building behind where their car is just as a point of reference, and it's like, oh, sorry, can't pick you up. So I go, just use the address, change the number by 1, use the door right next to it, or use the building right next to it to get me, gosh dang, tow truck out of here. And she's like, okay, I understand. So we use a different address, right? The one right next to it has nothing to do with cars whatsoever, so there's no way it can bug the AI system. AI is still not perfect. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. At 9 o'clock, so from pretty much 8 o'clock when I was getting frustrated, and it's not even a full hour in, I started looking around what's in a got hair in my mouth. That was weird. What's in a walkable distance that's still open, where I'm not just standing in the open for hours on end waiting for something. And I saw that there's a brewery, a 17-minute walk, a 2-minute drive across the street. I didn't want to walk across the street. This was a street that I originally had tried to turn on. It's very dark, not well lit, so I was like, I'm going to get hit and killed if I try to cross these 4 lanes. But anyway, I'm looking at that, and so at 9 o'clock, I finally get a text from this AI automated system saying, hey, great news, we have an ETA for you. 90 minutes! It says 10:28 p.m. I got to my car at 7:15. It's saying it's 10:28, more than 3 hours after I got to my car, a tow truck's going to arrive. And I'm like, if that's the ETA, I'm getting a lift, I'm going to this brewery, I need a drink. And so that's what I did. So I take a lift, I go across the street to the brewery, sit down at the brewery. As soon as I sit at the bar, I already know that I'm just going to get a flight. I'm just going to try what they have. I'm probably never going to be back here again to this brewery. So I always, whenever I go to a brewery when I'm traveling, I always get a flight. You got to try more than one thing. That's how I view things. Because if you're never going to be back there and you only tried one thing, you never know what else that you would have had. Anywho, so I get there, but as soon as I sit down, I get a phone call. I go, I swear if this is a tow truck saying that he's there at the car, as soon as I already paid for a lift and got to this place, I'm going to explode. But luckily, it was just a human calling saying, hey, tow truck's on their way. It's the only one that was able to come out at any point tonight because so many cars were flooded from this crazy massive flooding from the day before that all the tow trucks are there's like 100 plus cars that they're towing because all these cars are getting hydrolocked, which is when cars get water in the intake and they're like done, like they're never going to start again. And so because of all the chaos, even if it's the night after, 24 hours after this crazy flooding, all these tow trucks are still like backlogged. But there's one tow truck, she's like, hey, it's going to be within 45 minutes. So I was told 90 minutes. They said 45, but I'm already here. I can get drinks. I can drink a flight of beer in 45 minutes, get back. So we do that. We get back. Tow truck picks up the car. We go to the repair shop. That's Monday now. So we just finished Sunday and Monday. And I know we're 20 minutes in, but I swear, this is why you haven't seen me in a while. So Tuesday happens. I do the event in the morning. I then, as soon as the event's over with, which was like 1 p.m. yesterday, I then take a Lyft. No, somebody drives me, I think. Oh, sorry. No, I pick up a rental car Tuesday morning. That's what I do. So I go, I don't know what's going to go on. I need to stop paying for all these Lyft fees. So I pick up a rental car because my insurance covers like $50 a day of rental car. So I get a rental car, drive myself to this event on Tuesday, drive from it to the repair shop. The repair shop called me before I left the event on Tuesday, and they're like, listen, like, we tested everything, all the electronics, the computer, everything. 25 out of 27 things are like red alert, essentially. They're like, this car is essentially done. Like, it's too compromised that if like you change the engine out to a brand new engine, there's still a lot of things that are compromised, and so they're like, yeah, this is going to be totaled. And so I drive to there, and I get all my stuff out of my car, get my license plate, and eventually make my way home in the rental car. So normally when I travel on business stuff, you will see me still do a show from like my laptop, but this was such an overwhelming experience that I was not in a place where I had time or the mental capacity to be able to do shows. So that's why we're doing Thursday Night Football on Wednesday when we normally do this on Tuesday. I'm also going to see if I can squeeze out Sunday Night Football and maybe even Monday Night Football today as well. So I'm actually recording this on Wednesday morning for those who didn't know. And yeah, so we're just going to pump out a lot of content because tomorrow, so I just got back late last night. I drove home. So tomorrow I'm going to the airport, flying to Georgia. I got a wedding I have to go to there. I'm going to be there for a few days. So this is like the only day this entire week that I have to put out content. So we're going to put out as many videos today. You're going to see the hat. You're going to see this face. You're going to see the shirt and everything. I'm going to do as much stuff as I can do. This entire day is just pump out as much content for y'all as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, my baby, the 2024 Ford Mustang, is no more. I'm currently waiting on seeing how much the insurance is going to write me a check for. And I spent all last night like on my phone. What car do I want to get now? What's out there in the market? What do I want to get? So yeah, I'm currently carless right now. I mean, I have a rental, but yeah. So I felt like I wanted to share that. If you don't give a crap about anything about my life, you probably already fast forwarded by this point. But for those who didn't, that's story time with Travis there. Now that we got through that, let's find something for Thursday. Tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, Baltimore, Miami. As I mentioned, Lamar Jackson is slated to play, barring any pregame warm-up setback. So we're going to see what we can find. Typically when we have the one-game slates, we don't find anything trifecta for the receiving over and under. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but it's fine if we don't. If we're looking at matchups specifically, Baltimore has allowed the 6th most total passing yards, TPYA, total pass yards allowed this season. They've gotten a little better over the last 13th over the last 3 games. And if we're going to find a Baltimore player, which we have here, Mark Andrews, the Dolphins, this is very interesting. So even though the Dolphins' record is horrendous, what were we, 2-6, I think, this season? We destroyed the Falcons last week, which it's not shocking. The Falcons are not good. Even if they switch from Penix to Kirk Cousins, they're not good. They have one of the league's best running backs, but it's the same thing as Carolina Panthers when they had CMC. It didn't make the Carolina Panthers good, they just had an elite player. But the Dolphins, there's only 2 teams in the NFL the last 3 games that have allowed fewer passing yards than the Miami Dolphins. This is a crazy stat. Miami Dolphins actually have not allowed a lot of passing yards this season, 22nd most, but you have to factor in, which we'll do when we switch to rushing yards if we need to get there, they get gutted in rushing yards. And you know what's interesting is that this team, I don't know if you heard of the Baltimore Ravens before, they have a little running back. You may or may not have heard of him, King Henry, who's the best running back in NFL history. This is also interesting. Baltimore, so we already just said that they've allowed the 6th most passing yards. They've allowed the 10th most rushing yards. So Baltimore defense is horrendous. This morning, I just picked up Baltimore defense in 3 of my leagues to versus Miami to make it a win-win scenario for me. So Baltimore either has an amazing game where they score a lot of fantasy points for the defense, or the Dolphins destroy them and the Dolphins win. But this is what I was referring to here. Keaton Mitchell, running back. Miami, well, this is interesting as well. This season, they have been gutted. They've allowed the 5th most rushing yards. But the last 3 games, the Dolphins have a top 5 defense the last 3 games. There's only 8 teams that have fewer rushing yards allowed in the last 3. And I already just mentioned there's only 2 teams that have fewer passing yards allowed. So that makes the Dolphins a top 5 defense in terms of yards allowed over the last 3 games collectively. The main consistent is that the Baltimore defense is one of the top 6 worst passing defenses, one of the top 10 worst rushing defenses, and they're both yellow in the last 3 on their passing and their rushing yards allowed, which means they're getting a little bit better, but they're still middle of the pack, as opposed to the Dolphins, who have gotten a lot better on not allowing rushing yards and passing yards the last 3 games. So, I'm thinking here, if the Baltimore defense is bad on both ends, let me go back to, so we always like starting receiving yards. Oh man, so I tried to get cute last week, and I apologize because it didn't work out for us. We did a Thursday Night Football longest reception. We've never done that before. We did a Monday Night Football under passing yards, which we've done maybe once or twice, like in the last 2 seasons. However, the passing yards, that was hitting with like 1:41 left in the game. If the Kansas City Chiefs on their last drive, if they got it was 3rd and 9, if they converted those 9 yards, we would have hit Monday Night Football. But they only got like 3 yards. They just ran the ball to try to run some more time off the clock, and they punted. And then, what's his face? Marcus Mariota, he just needed like one more pass of like 5 yards to hit the line, which he did because the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't convert 3rd and 9. So we almost hit that one. That was an almost. So it was a good read. It's just sucky situation that we missed it by 90 seconds or the last 90 seconds of the game. But Tua had a pretty good game against the Falcons. I think he has the 3rd most 4-touchdown passing game since he came into the league. And then this last Sunday, he had 4 touchdowns as well. I feel like now subconsciously I'm thinking, I feel like I said that out loud for a reason. Maybe that's what we look at. So I originally went to passing touchdowns because I was looking at Tua. Technically, it's a projection that's over, but this Lamar Jackson, we've actually targeted his line a handful of times over the last 2 seasons here, and Kansas City was the first time he didn't hit it. Wait, 928? Oh, this is when he got hurt. Yeah, so this is an outlier game. So every game that he finished, dating back to almost a year ago, 11-17, this man has been getting 2. He's projected to get 2. Accuracy, 85.7. I'm going to look at a few other things here. So we're going to go back to receiving yards. So Lamar Jackson 1.5 is something of interest. There's not really many people that have an over difference here. I don't really like these are baby lines. Zay Flowers 70.5. So sportsbooks are almost balanced, or not sportsbooks, but DraftKings specifically. They have a minus 111 under and a minus 113 over. He hasn't hit this line, so there's only one game where he annihilated, and that was game 1 of the season against Buffalo, which was a pretty good game. Every other game, he hasn't gotten more than 75. Keep in mind his line 70.5. He hasn't gotten more than 75 this entire game. So barely hit, didn't, barely, didn't. The Dolphins, again, as I mentioned, have allowed are the top 3 in fewest pass yards allowed last 3 games. However, when did Lamar Jackson get hurt? Lamar Jackson got hurt in this game against Kansas City, 928. So these 3 games aren't even with the same quarterback. So we kind of have to throw these out. These weren't with Lamar Jackson. This was Lamar Jackson. But still, in the 4 games that Lamar Jackson played this season, 74, 13, 75. So there's one crazy outlier game, and then he's barely hit and missed in those. I think that Baltimore probably will win this game, even though I would love the Miami Dolphins to. But at this point, I want the Miami Dolphins to get a really good draft pick. I don't think we're making the playoffs with a 2-6 record. We have to win like the rest of our games to make the playoffs, essentially. Which I don't think is going to happen, especially if Lamar Jackson's playing, which he seems he is. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at the props comparison tool for Thursday Night Football. Yeah, receiving yards. So let's see what we have line-wise. Okay. So the highest line is on DraftKings, 70.5. You can get as low as 65.5 on Fanatics, but remember, if you're going under something, if you're going under, you want the highest line possible, which is 70.5 here. So I think that this might be a King Henry game. Like if Baltimore wins, it's because Lamar Jackson runs for like 1 million yards and Derrick Henry runs for 1 million yards, and maybe Justice Hill runs for like 1 million yards after catch from a bunch of dump-off passes. I don't think... Let's look at passing yards. Yeah, it's like Lamar Jackson's not going to have an amazing passing yard game. 230. Especially if they're up. Remember, quarterbacks in the fourth quarter, you have to think about game script. If we have them winning, they're probably not going to be passing a ton of them. And if they are winning in the fourth quarter, they probably just want to milk the clock, so Tua can't get the ball to Jalen Waddle, which is the only receiver that hasn't died yet. There's a few things that are interesting in this one, but I think we're going to stick with that last one we looked at. I think we're going to stick with that receiving yards prop. And the best line was that 70 that I just talked about. So, yeah. So, again, I had to tell you that story at the beginning, which did take 20 minutes, but I had to tell you because it was quite crazy. Quite crazy the last 72 hours of my life. Oh, also, if you work at a dealership, DM me on Discord. If you got like, not if you just work at a dealership. If you got like an amazing deal because you work at a dealership where I can get like a discount on something or whatever because me and you are BFFs, DM me on that. But if you can't give me anything better than MSRP, I just want to know if you guys got deals. Because I'm in the market for new cars. I mentioned something minutes ago. Okay, so this is Thursday Night Football. This is what we're doing for Thursday Night Football, right? I'm going to stop this. I'm going to hit record again. We're going to go straight into Sunday Night Football. And if Monday night predictions are in the app, we're also going to do Monday Night Football today. So I'm going to crank out 3 videos today for those 3 days. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that these videos are educational. They are teaching you how to use the app as intended. If you never actually use the app, you're never actually watching this video, and you're never applying yourself. The only way that you can finish with less money than what you started is just ignoring the guidelines. The guidelines are 100% guaranteed to make you lose less money when you're betting. If you don't know what the guidelines are, in the Welcome to VIP channel, which is a premium channel in the Discord, they're listed there. That's the first thing you should look at. As soon as you upgrade, go to the Welcome to VIP channel in Discord. If you upgrade and you don't get into Discord, then you are not listening to the words coming out of my mouth. You have to be in Discord. You have to follow the guidelines. If you choose not to, the success rate is it's up to you. The more that you apply yourself, the more success you can have. So it's up to you how much you want to apply yourself. But this is a very long video, so I'm going to stop yapping now. I'm going to get to Monday Night Football here in a second. Good luck, guys.